For those of us who watch the world news, geopolitics, current events, economics, we do understand that we are in a financial crisis. We are at a point where a lot of the nations around the world are defaulting on their loans and on their debts. And this is why there's such a strong push to bring about this digital currency. Now, although United States currently has the world reserve currency, the money that is here in Babylon will fail. First of all, when we understand what money is really based upon um, hard assets or commodities, right? Which would be land, um, agriculture, silver, gold, things of that nature, tangible assets that can be um, valued for exchange. But right now we have something which is called fiat currency, which is a man-made or manipulation of the currency, right? And the Congress institutes something which is called legal tender, which is the ability to exchange or have an exchange of a particular currency, in this case being the fiat money or the Federal Reserve note. Now, for those of you who can just even look at your dollar bills, you would see that it says Federal Reserve note on top. And what is a note? A promise to pay. Who is who's the person or the entity which needs to be paid? The international bankers, right? The Federal Reserve is a private institution. And this goes into a whole other topic which you'll have to research on your own. But the point that I wanted to make is that um, nothing lasts forever. And in the same way, again, that the money or the currency in Babylon will fall the same way it fell in ancient Egypt. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 47, verse 14. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money unto Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Right? So, as kingdoms rise and fall, one of the telltale signs of the decadence of an economy or a kingdom is their money. Now, the money here, all going too deep in history, used to be pegged towards silver and gold, and you had something called the Nixon shock, which stopped the convertibility of dollars into gold. Then you have something else called the petrodollar, which are more expansive topics. But for those who look at the national debt, I believe the debt is about 30 over $30 trillion right now. I think it said the currency that has been in circulated, or 80% of the currency which has been in circulation for the past 2 years, or 80% of the currency which has been circulated for the past 2 years has been recently printed right? Or printed within the last 2 years. Sorry. But in any event, um, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable unto him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So, in exchange for foreign aid, America prints a lot of money and offers it to these foreign countries, which increases the debt ceiling for the taxpayers here. As well, they go into the countries and receive or extract the natural resources of the country. All of this is well documented. But to prove this again is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. As so they oppress a man and his house, and even a man and his heritage. So this is why a lot of countries now are against the US dollar, against democracy, against foreign aid, against military presence, and just anything that comes from the West, because they understand what is associated with it. And a lot of countries are moving off of the dollar and looking into other methods by which to conduct their business, primarily Russia and China. This is why you see a lot of these wars which occur essentially to keep the US dollar propped up. Right? This goes in again into a much more deeper topic, which is outside of the scope of this particular video. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 15. The rich man's wealth is his city. The destruction of the poor is his poverty. Right? So we see many people suffering across the world. Why the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But thanks be to the Most High through His Son, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who has given us spiritual riches. What is that? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 7. There is that maketh himself rich, yet hath nothing. There is that maketh himself poor, yet hath great riches. Right? So the riches of this, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures is riches beyond comparison. And those of us who find it and understand what this knowledge represents, we're not trading in for anything else in the world, right? The book of Romans chapter 11 verse 33. Oh, the depths of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God, Yahweh. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. So the spiritual riches which are contained within these scriptures not only give us riches for the time being, but also riches forevermore. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Right, so there's this book in Zephaniah, I think it says silver and gold will not be able to save them in that day. You know, the Lord is going to require a ransom. And for those who have obtained or retained spiritual, physical riches, they will not sustain them in the day of their calamity. This is why exchanging and obtaining these spiritual riches are essential at this time. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 28. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. Right. So just want to implore and exhort and encourage everyone who may not be rich in this world, but have obtained spiritual riches. Understand the value of what it is that you have received and obtained, and do not let it go. Continue to multiply it and continue to hold fast to it, because the fashion of this world fadeth away, but the riches and promises of the Heavenly Father endureth forever. Remember, freely receive, freely give.